There we go.
Hello, world.
Hi, world. Right. And Christians and all the other people there. All right, let's begin. So we're going to be rigging this leaf. His leaf's name is Leafy, right? For lack of a better name. Hold on. Don't worry, I'll send it to you. Send it to you. Yes, it's lovely. Let us proceed. All right, so we have our leaf here. Our leaf has a couple of drawings. So, for example, the iris, which is probably a duplicate of itself, has a blink, right? It also has this sigh look, another one is open eyes again. And we can always draw in more if we wanted to. For example, if you want to draw an additional pose for your leaf or a new drawing, right? Here's what we can do. Let me zoom in. So right now we're in the camera tab, which shows us what we're going to see on screen. Whatever is in between this here is what we're going to see on screen. If you want to see what the layer we're on for the drawing, we can just hit the drawing tab and it shows us the drawing. You notice though, now with the drawing you'll only see the outline here. That's because with the drawing we actually separate the line art from the color art. Right? Much like when we're drawing, when you create your artworks, you draw your line art, you do your rough, you do your line art, then you do your colors, and then afterwards your additional stuff. Because we have not only line art, color art, we also have overlay and we have underlay. Just in case you want to be more detailed with your art. Cool? Right, so that's color art right there, and we're gonna add a new drawing. So I'm gonna right click here and choose drawings, and you have the option of creating an empty drawing, or you can duplicate your drawings. What I'm going to do for myself is I'm going to duplicate my drawing, and here's why. I'm duplicating my drawing. It's looking exactly the same. You'll notice, however, that says iris 2 or iris dash 2 down here, right? And as it progresses, you have iris 1, iris 3, which is empty. Well, I don't know what that's empty. Right, there we go. That one, iris 3, this one. Now we have that one, and we have an exact copy of the same. Right, back into drawing mode. Right, reason why I'm separating them is because I just want to keep the position relatively in the same area rather than having to draw it arbitrarily and repositioning it. So what I'll do is, that's the color art, this is my line art. I'm just going to delete my line art since I kind of have an idea of where it is going to be. I'll just do this. I'm going to go to my pencil tool and I just want to draw a little thing. Right, and that looks trashy. So I'm using my polyline tool just to give myself some more nice details. And we have that. That'll be my, happy look. Okay. Right, let's proceed some more. And with that done, I'm just gonna reposition this down here. Make it larger. I said make it larger. Make it larger. Like so. That's using Shift and Alt. And just delete the original line art. Now we also have a cool option. Once the path is closed, this makes it a lot easier for us to press this button that says convert your line art to color art, which means when I click on, for example, this, and click on that, on my color art layer, which we have originally as this, and I'm going to delete that, we can get this shape here. Right? So that shape, it's empty, but we can actually fill it in with some colors. So I just fill the color art layer separately, and apart from that, and we have it in the camera view. We have one little cute little eye. Right, so this is iris 2, and you have iris also. You see iris underscore 1 is the layer's name, but the drawing is iris dash 2. Under iris, it's iris, but it's iris dash 1. The cool thing about it is that this character has been so set up that the two eyes are cloned. So if you do one for one, the other one is going to be. Good afternoon. Yeah. My brother gave me Leafy to teach class. It's everybody's thing. Right? Okay. Yay! More prospective student. I'm so happy. Let's proceed. So that's one. Here's another one. So maybe I don't like the whole, iris being black. Change my line art. Right, let me change my line art. This line art here. This line art right here. Change that to outline color so that the color and the iris can be the same. And back in camera mode, it looks better. Let's proceed now. So we want to rig Leafy. I don't like this outline at all. I'll fix that. Die. So I'm going to create a new color, and I'm going to make it invisible. Bye-bye, Alpha. There we go. There we go. Much better. So regular Leafy, all squinty-eyed, sigh, happy. I mean, the eyes could be bigger still. But that's besides the point. I thought the outline was necessary for it to look bigger. Oh, no, the outline wasn't necessary at all. Cool, so now we have that. Let's bring back our timeline. Alright, what we want to know is get everything done properly. So one, we want to make the arms like noodles, and the feet, which we have here, not like noodles, but rather like bendy. Yeah, bendy straws. Right, so we're gonna start one arm at a time. So with the arm 1, right, we're just gonna open the node view so you can see what it looks like. And right now, the node view, which I can actually make bigger, like just by doing this, and I can always push this down so you can see a little closer. And this drawing here, which looks a little something like that. That's just a line to tell you where the floor is. Alright, tool properties can always be pushed back over, bring Leafy back on the floor. So in the node view, which is quite zoomed up right now, you're seeing all the different connections. And like we said before, the things to the left are the ones that are going to be in front. The things that are to the right are going to be behind. Right? So example, the color card is connected to the composite, which is connected to the display. And if we plug out this display, you're not going to see. Good. What are we talking about? Excellent. Nice. So, color card. Alright, let's move on. So we have the feet, leg. I will try to keep them nice and orderly. Thigh. The further to the right, it's back. Yep. Well, I've experienced Open Tunes. Open Tunes also has a node view. It's relatively similar, however, not the same exact setup because there's turns sideways. After Effects has a node view, but it's not like prominently used. It's usually kind of shows you what element connects to what element. or what are in a particular composition. All right, let's move on. So let's do the rigging of these here things. Right, so no. Yes. All right, so let's start off. So to do the deformations, you're gonna have to start off by clicking the object you want to deform. So for example, we have the arm here, and you want to set up a deformation. So we click there. Once you click, and I'll just hide the face so you can see the whole arm. You can always start from one point and you can click and drag. Another point, and click and drag backwards.
And that's the tool with like a hammer? It looks like a hammer.
Yes. Right? So you see a little hammer and a wrench that's setting up your deformations. And then the next one actually shows you your deformations when they're not visible.
So it's basically the same thing as a skeleton system?
Sort of. Except you're putting what we call a spline through the entire object.
Spline?
Yes, a spline is a curve.
Yeah. Isn't the spline like the whole underneath structure, like what? I mean, that toy box.
Oh, that thing. Yes, kind of like that. But spline is just like a line that can deform into different shapes. So once you create a deformation, and you might think, oh no, deformation, that sounds like a complex term. Yes. Well, it is. But basically, it's a spine line, if you want to call it that. Right? If that makes it better, you simply click again. We're doing it again. You click in the setup tool. You click the object. So object first, then setup button. Click and drag. Click and drag backwards. Okay. That's how you would create. And right now it's not going to be deforming because we're still in setup mode. So you go back in your transform options and now it becomes something you can actually deform.
Okay, so you can just set them all up and then don't necessarily have to move each piece by piece. Like you can put all of the deformations in there in the split transform section.
Basically, and move that particular one.
I have a question.
Yes, Nishan has a question.
In the skeleton system that we learned about before, usually we just like click, click, click.
I'm going to show you that with the other arm just so you can have it in your head. Right, so this other arm now, we can actually do the deformations differently. So I'm going to click setup, and you can actually create jointed deformations. So for example, you click here, you click there, and you click there, and that creates a bone. You can create a bone structure of as much as you want. But in the setup mode, you can choose how much it bends. So for example, if we were to just go in here and for example try to transform the object, it bends along here, but you can always change how much of a bend it has, and that kind of does mess up that thing there if you do it while it's not in setup mode. In setup mode, however, you can go back in and tweak how much of a bend it has, jump back into transform mode, and you know it doesn't deform as much, but you have that whole system there. You can always bend that, move this, rotate things, you know, do things like that. So if you wanted Leafy to have like one stiff arm and then one noodly arm, don't do that. Just keep it consistent. But we want noodle arms, so set up again. Well, let's just make sure we get rid of that. You click first and drag, just a smidge. Click again and drag back. So essentially, you're creating that spline that allows you to do the wave. Okay. So if you wanted him to do a Mexican wave, you know, at least you have now the thing that you can just do a thing with it. Cool? So that's one part. That's just the arms. The arms are done. Cool. Let us continue, shall we? So that's the deformation arm, and you'll notice now it says deformation 1 arm, deformation arm as well. So now there's deformations in each of your arms, here and here, right? That's what this node tells you. It's basically just a node view of what you're seeing over here. Cool.
It was kind of, for me, it was just like, when I see the node view, I just thought it was like a large web. Because it looks like a long,
it can get even bigger. It does look like a nervous system. And this system can make anyone nervous. But
Facts.
right, so let's proceed. So we have another one here. We have thigh, turn on these, thigh, leg, foot, right? Another way you can actually rig your character is by parts, and that's by the same deformation. So we have thigh, this is one way, and what we want to do is have thigh be the main controller for leg, and leg being the controller for the foot, right? So if I move thigh, I should be able to move everything. So what we're doing is we're doing a parenting. So leg parented to thigh, right? Which now means no, you can actually drag thigh to leg as well. So you can drag it from here to there. The control, no. So the top part shows you. So this is like child connections. Anything above is parenting. So from the bottom connects to the leg. It's kind of like a hierarchy. I'm in control of you, right? And the same thing for the leg. Leg is in control of foot, right? So now if I feel like it, this is without any deformations or anything like that. You can just use the transform properties and just be able to do some rotations here. One, click on the leg, right? Leg bends there, foot bends here, right? Personally, I don't even like the way this is bending because this foot looks out of joint. So I'm gonna fix that before I continue parenting. And I'll leave this little piece here. Alright, so those are the legs. This looks better for me. Thigh to leg, leg to foot. And one thing that's very important, oh boy, it happened again. One thing that's important is your pivot point, right? If your pivot point is crazy out of joint, then some things are definitely gonna look weird. Very, very RONGW.
Especially when you try to move them, I'm assuming.
Yes, especially. So thigh, and the way you can actually set up your pivot point, you have a pivot button here, which tells you where your pivot points are. One, leg, right? You can always play with where it is. And then you have your foot, and that's where your foot's pivot point is, and that's good for you. Cool. So let's try this again. Bam, that went out of joint. You know what? Let's do it this way. And because I don't like where this thing is, I'm just gonna move this over a little bit. Just kind of fix it a little bit. Because you can actually move children separate and apart from the parents, but you can't move a parent away from the child. Right? Because children can run off all on their own, but you typically won't have a parent just leave the child. Unless it's like a bad parent.
Word.
Right. Anyway. So thigh again. So this thigh, and if for example you're working inside this view here, you select an object, you can actually focus on the object by pressing O over here and it jumps to that particular node. Right? And the other way you can actually set up this whole pivot point parenting is by actually going inside this here we have and just pulling things into things. So we have leg, which I'm going to put down here. Right, so we're going to have thigh, pull leg into thigh, and it becomes a child of thigh. But you can see that there's some weird craziness happening here, like happened last week. Right, so let's do this again. We're going to fix it this time. Yeah. No leg ain't gonna make a fool out of me. Right, let's check a few things. So we have thigh, leg, and foot. Fine. We now have thigh, leg, and foot. Let's check a few options. I'm gonna just jump here. Just check a few things. For example, where things are. Okay. Yes, yes. Right, right. Drawing.
Dipping on the floor, sir. We're making the floor wet.
I didn't move forward.
Procedamos. All right. So thigh, leg. Let's see what happens here. All right. So what's the problem? The problem is
I was thinking it's because something was named.
chances are this is called thigh 1, this is called thigh leg 1, and this is called foot 1. It's not really how it's named so much.
Later?
Oh, you need to build it out.
This you. Alright,
Forwards
alright.
for foot, but I don't know.
And this foot now, pull that
Alright.
there, and we're just gonna adjust that here. Cool. And Leafy is practically finished. Almost. What's next? The face. Alright, now we can actually animate Leafy. What do we want this leaf to do? Now, you have the option of actually attaching, for example, making parents out of these. But I'm going to just leave it separate because it gives me more control. So for example, we might have this leaf here, and he's just there. I'm going to have him just come to life. So first, to make myself a little bit more make it a little bit more simple to grasp, I'm just gonna remove all these additional keyframes and just start simple. So we'll have our leaf here. Probably I'll extend to about, probably for about 1 second or so. Leafy is just doing nothing but grasping the concept of I'm alive. I'm alive. Alright, so for about 2 seconds it's gonna stand there. About first second he's gonna blink. So when we're blinking now, we just jump to the irises. Actually, you can put both irises. Irises. Right. Iris. So 1.
Hey, come on. It's enough water here.
What?
It's enough water here. You making some tea, Nigel?
No, sir.
Just throw some more in it.
I think that's alright.
Once it's rigged, it's like, Then we're gonna have his arms drop. Yeah, it's like, I'm alive. So then, to do that, we come over to deformation of the arm, and we can just play with these. Now, before you actually start animating, you want to turn on this thing here. Alright, so that you can actually start animating, because you can't tween anything unless the animation is on. Cool? Same thing for this one. You can't animate unless deformation is off. So notice that the deformation is on this arm. If you want to see the one for this arm, you simply have to click on that button at the top, which enables deformation for there. So blink, blink, arm falls, and we want to do it. You know, animation, we deal with the 12 principles of animation. You have follow through versus overlapping action. So we want to be guided by that. So I'm going to have this, and it's going to drop in our first keyframe. See, that part is a problem though. You don't want your first keyframe to be the first movement you make. So I recommend always setting a keyframe. So I'm going to right click and choose insert keyframe, shortcut being F6. Right, so for the first one and for the second one, I'm just going to hit the shortcut here. Kind of want this leaf to just be like, oh snap, I is alive. right? So that's the first one, and this arm, boom, move that thing. Oh my gosh! What is happening here? I know what happened. Can you tell me what happened? Yes, I made an accidental pairing. I have no idea. It's arm and leg. Yeah, so just move that leg out of the way and we're good now. Ah! Right, so pull that down. So just in case you made mistakes like that, at least now you know. At least you know. You can always play with that, you know. Bring a little leaf thingy down. Same thing here. And you just play with the leaf rig. His arms are gonna fall to the ground now. I'll just deal with one arm first and then the rest. At least I can gauge one arm, I can gauge the other one. So when I have him fall down this arm here, wave principle like kind of things, you know, right here. You know, tie those arms, tie the arms. Arched. Does that mean you're hungry?
So you're going to class?
So let's hide that thing. Yeah. So problem here for me is that his arm got shorter. So what do? Fix it.
You said, hey man, stretch out your arm. Stretch out your arm, my G. Stretch it out.
You extend the clip.
That's not nice.
I'm not the best at making complex story jokes and trash talk my G. At least not when I'm trying. When I don't. I just try to.
Nonsense. You should always try. Always. And there's nothing wrong with going into every single frame just to make sure the animation looks good.
That's what I do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I make it fluid.
That's what they do at Disney.
Water.
Every single frame. Every
Just one
single frame.
frames just to make it slightly better.
Cool, so that's one arm.
You mean the murdered one arm?
Yeah.
It's like it just broke.
I'm alive. Yeah. And you can do the same thing with the other arm.
Are we going to do the same thing with the other arm?
Should we?
I mean, that sounds evil. I mean,
What do we do? Shall we do the same thing?
You shall do the same.
Let's just copy these keyframes, right?
Yeah.
Easy, right?
no.
But it's wrong. Yeah, you know why it's wrong? Because the both arms are now in the same place. That's why it's wrong. So don't do that.
Then you invert.
Don't be cheap.
You invert it horizontal.
I mean, there is a way to get it to flip, and I can show you that.
That's what I can have to take out time.
It helps you in the long run. So here's what we're doing. We're gonna cheat. Guys on YouTube, do not do this. This is an experiment. Don't do this. We're testing it out. We know it's going to work, but we're testing it out anyway. Paste. Right, we're gonna paste those keyframes. What do we do? Paste them keyframes. Now, like I said before, it's gonna be all on the same thing. But what if we want to get this to flip back over there? Well, here's what we do. I'm going to create something called a peg, which is kind of like a master controller that we can tell it to do, hey. And the shortcut was Control P, by the way. So if you click on something, you right click and you choose, well, it ain't here, so whatever. You could always not click that and choose this, and then there's a create peg button here, or that new peg, right? Always fling it somewhere over here, of course. Why not? Right, so now we have that. So what the peg does is that it's gonna have that position there. It usually centers the position into the entire, it's the center of the entire screen. You kind of have to reposition that if you want it to work properly. So we're just gonna do that, flip. So that's gonna be the new center for the peg, because your deformation can have a different center, or your arm can have a different center. Your arm, remember, the original center was over there. So for this one, what we're gonna do is this. I'm gonna click on that, and then we have something here called advanced spline offset. We have transformation, which you can actually change the scale, and I want to scale it on the x-axis, a -1. Yes, and that's going to flip it. So I'm simply going to move this over here, so and then we turn on like this arm. Wait a minute. Deformation peglet. Peg. Oh, whoops. I seem to have flipped something out of whack. Let's repeg that over here, and yes, the peg here will go over here, and we will simply tell the scaling again. Right, that's wrong. Let's pull that back. Pull it here. And what happens? What happened?
Yay, we're making progress, guys. We're making progress.
Let's delete that.
Let's not be crafty.
Yeah,
Let's-
It's only for the people who that's too much work to be crafty. Let's just work.
Nonsense. We're gonna fix it. I see the problem now. Oh, I know what the problem was. See, the problem is you start off on the left side, jump to the right side. Yeah, you start off on the left side, this first keyframe, you start off on the left side. But then you jump to the right side if we copy this set of keyframes, which flips it. So that's the problem. Let us do honest work. Thank you. So what do we want to do now?
Don't bring the earnest of these. Why you get the technical light on that? Well, brother, that means we can't let them decide what we think is for.
YouTube is listening. Anywho, bam bam, that does its thing.
This is the same thing. This arm.
And then this arm is going to be like someone Mjolnir or something. Right, so this other arm, let's extend this frame. Right? Bam, bam. So first one, maybe it's doing dance moves. Oh, my arm. Next arm. First arm. So we have our keyframe set up already for the deformation for that particular arm. All I'm gonna do now is just tell it, hey, reach down and do something. Ooh, this one might be a little dark, but let's try it.
It's a dark. What you mean about? What you mean about that shit?
Um, hmm. Deformation, please. Thank you. Transformation, check. So starts off there. Little thing, we can always block it. So blocking the position, right? That. It's not as effective if you don't have shoulder movement, you know? Oh, we forgot something. Guess what we forgot to do?
Stickman.
Turn on the animate button before we started moving anything.
Stickman.
Yeah.
Stickman. Bam.
I never know about it before.
To know that we're making all the mistakes, when you're gonna do yours, you just don't do those.
Jake, you have too much trust in us. You always get too mistakes.
Have this guy pull down slowly for that. And do this really fast. F6. Fast pull up like so. Like Thor's hammer or something. Have it go up real fast. Wham. But you want to also settle. That's very important. So it's pull it back just a smidge. Right, so wham. Wham. Power to the people. Yeah. Yeah. Bam. So that looks all nice and fun. What we'll do, I'm going to do this. I'm going to parent this arm to the head. Parent both arms to the head actually. Kind of make my work a little bit easier. So arm, deformation arm. Where's my head?
Isn't the down more like the face?
Let's just click on the head and press O.
It's the face.
Face. So arm is gone to the head. That's going also to the head. Which means when the head moves, these two move. Cool? Hmm? Okay, what to the arms? To the arms directly? Because the deformations are controlling the arms. Yeah. Bam. So what we want to do is when this guy is, you know, we want to, one, this face, I'm going to put a peg on this face because we generally don't like putting keyframes on our drawings. So for the pivot point, we're just going to center that pivot point. And by the way, if you realize that the pivot point for this is here, one thing you can do is open these two, right? Yeah. And you have the location of your pivot point in there somewhere. Yes. Pivot.
Right there.
Drawing pivot. Where is it? Pivot 0, 0. They're not the same. I have to just do it manually. Right, so let's just move this pivot point to here. Right? And then set my keyframe for my face. F6 is a shortcut. And it's gonna push all the way up like this. And it's gonna have it do a quick rotation. Whoops. A quick rotation like that. And back. No, it doesn't look as convincing now, does it? What can we do to make it more convincing? Them eyes though. Let's parent them to the face. We might lose a little bit of control, but at least. A what?
Oh, you can't see nothing. You can't see the words. Anything. That's disgusting.
Iris to the face. And the other iris. Oh, other iris. Other iris. Yes, yes, yes. Quite right.
That's nasty, bro. Yeah, that's nasty, man. Just imagine a whole network of veins and you just like,
And if you want to be a little bit more fancy,
okay,
you could always add a little bit of squash and stretch to it.
spot too.
So even while it's pulling this down, the face can kind of do a little tiny squash, like so, right? Ew, gross.
Just eating on it, you know.
Kind of stiff. So let's play with some leg movements.
Yeah, spot,
So while he's coming down like so,
spotty.
his legs,
Hey,
here we are with the legs, right? We're doing with the legs. One leg. Where's the other leg? My goodness, we're missing more leg. Oh, there we are. Oh, we didn't even rig it. We didn't.
We didn't remove it from the thigh.
Right.
Put it in the thigh.
Thigh to leg, foot to this thing. Nice. So now we have thigh 1 and thigh 2. And like I said, generally we don't like working with keyframes on the pivot point, but we just allow the exception for now, just to get the animation across.
Here.
So you want to be when he's doing a thing like this, that part comes down. So when this arm comes down, you want him to kind of just do a downward movement, right? So
Oh, so do a little squat.
yeah.
And when the arm reaches that little bend.
So where do we start the animation? From here, right? Let's do that. F6, right? So that's one thigh, and the next thigh.
Oh, 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 my brain. My brain.
Is it working?
stupid.
No, I didn't understand the whole necessity of all these lines until my eyes just made the connection. So it's literally the color for the specific body part.
Yes.
We didn't see it.
Right? So
Because I was wondering what no like look all these dots all over the place. I was like, this doesn't make sense until I realized like each single lane is for each specific body part. Like,
yes, that is true.
I
So
was that was one of the things that was confusing me, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie.
so 1, 2, leg, leg, right? And these feet can stay the same. Right, but we're just gonna bring these down,
I bring the body down, like the whole body down,
the
so
whole body down.
the legs should be shorter when you squat the legs short.
So bringing this down,
Yeah.
can even go as far as to bring this body across. Nah, let's just bring this leg back up.
I mean, the knee can probably go a bit wider, but that would be a deformation. Like you have to do it.
You could do the deformation, but we didn't put one in the legs, so. What about the foot? Nothing's going on with the foot. Oh my gosh. What did we do wrong? My face did not get a keyframe before all this happened. So I'm gonna have to shift this back up. So now it's like that. And them feet. Foot 1 and the other foot. No need for any movement here. Just doing a little something here.
What is that? That's nasty.
It's a little breakdancing move, you know. Back of the arm.
It's Friday, it's Saturday, it's Friday.
Yo, bro, you do it. This is tilt. Just a tilt.
Right, so we also want one comes down, pushes back up. Right? So how do we get that push back up? You set your keyframes, you know that's your highest point, right? I'm gonna set keyframes for all those parts here. F6. But we also want to set keyframes before that even happens. Right? So at the last, it's definitely going up. Now let's move this up.
He's off the ground. It's that leg, bro.
Are you making the Superman jump?
Is he? I have no idea.
Respect to all black folks, man.
So what's wrong with this whole head movement? It's not staying still here. So we have to fix the head movement as well. The head
Word.
needs to be positioned so that it doesn't move.
Word, word, word.
So I'm gonna copy that keyframe. I'm gonna paste that keyframe here. And we can always just set it to settle back down right there. Tell these same ones to settle back down in the same place. If you want to be a little bit more with the face, you can always do a little squash and stretch. Clear that up a bit more. And then you have him settle down again. Read from my phone. I mean, I have one at home. You can borrow it if you want. Where is it? Isn't it charging? Some over there? Or in my bag?
I shall take it.
Right, so let's have this thing settle back into position. Because you don't want to just be stiff like that. And also, this other arm that's all floppy, let's keep it pointing downward. Right, so the arm here, this one that is, right, we know it's a deformation arm. So press F6 here, and we don't want to rotate along with this, we just want it to stay down.
It needs to move because it's the whole body. You can't always be stiff. With the external forces like gravity.
True. And let's have him settle back down into position. So here's the cool bit. I can press F6 here to just keep the same exact keyframes throughout. And then for the keyframes just before that one, I'll tweak those so it looks like he can settle more. So this particular face one here, I can tell it to go down a smidge. Oh yeah.
What time is the meeting
Oops. That is not right. Which one? Tomorrow?
Yeah.
No idea. It's in the group.
Okay. 1 o'clock. I'll be here at 6. I don't know. What's that case? No. Same probably maybe 10 or the work version maybe working on slowly. I'll try to finish as much of this weekend as well. That's it. No, not stop. It's sometimes what stops. Stop it. So, someone could have came outside with me, please. To be honest, I just don't want. I don't really want to play it anymore. To be honest, but I'm gonna have it and it's a game and
Cool.
I don't want to play with my friends.
So how the animation looks so far though?
Click again.
Relatively boring. You know, we'll set it a little bit more. So every single every single keyframe that we have here, to be honest, is actually being tweened. Have you ever heard of the 5 conditions of motion? Alright, so you have acceleration, deceleration, random, hold,
Random.
yes, and constant.
Oh.
Random mean like, alright,
I know what random means, but like
well,
the context of the motion. How would
random motion mean
So
that
let's
it
say, oh,
act
You manifest and then you just
suddenly gone,
Yeah, I do that.
like teleportation, just all over the place.
I was thinking in more of the case of say in acceleration and sudden deceleration.
Mm-hmm.
You the body stop moving, but say it was like the hair, the coat, or whatever the hair is wearing, the clothes that the hair
The
is
follow
wearing,
through and overlapping action.
overlapping and that.
Yeah. So in this particular case, we have function curves in our whole of this thing. Function curves actually tell you how your animation is tweened. By default, your animation is going to be tweened on a linear, which means it's going to start from 0 and gradually go to where it's supposed to go at a kind of a constant rate. So it's not like you're going to see slowing into the action or slowing out of the action. It's just going to do the action.
Okay.
So if you look at any of these, look at him, any of these, right? So if I wish I could zoom in. So right now it's like one line here. You can actually see I can kind of tweak them, so I can basically ease into the action.
So you can change the rate of
Yes.
motion with okay.
So you can control just how much, how slow it looks. Let's see if I zoom in if it's going to change what I see. Not at all, in the slightest. Most unfortunate.
That's why you said the magnifier could also work.
Apply and next. So that's our curve now. I can slow this into this action here.
Oh.
Apply and next. Same thing, just kind of slow that into the action. Apply and next, you know. This one you want to be like a very smooth one, since it's just going to bounce in and bounce out. Let's make it smooth. Silky
So
smooth.
if it's an S curve, it's going slowly. If it's like this regular curve,
Mm-hmm.
it's smoothly.
It's smoothly transitioning from here to here, because look at the curves like that.
I know.
Otherwise, it would be like this.
Jake, I'm telling you, I'm trying to understand what the curves represent. What the S
Okay.
curve and what that little C curve represent. I'm trying to decide.
So this down here means time, and this is positioning.
Yeah.
Positioning over time, it's like time constantly going, but the position is slowly going into that motion there, and then slowing back out into that motion, and jumping back up really fast.
I've heard, but what does the curve represent? What motions do they represent?
Oh, motion, rotation, scale, and skew.
I don't think that answers my question.
What does this graph represent?
So okay, if my character does a punch,
Yes.
per se, and it's going to be a fast punch.
Yes. You start off slow and then go really fast
And then
and stop.
and that's what that S curve represents.
So that this S curve, yeah, that's
S
what.
curve represents the slowing
the acceleration and deceleration of it.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
There we go.
And then that curve right there is a smooth. What do you mean by smoothing? Like it's
It's slowly going into the action and then pulling back out. So it's almost like it's not going to stop the action. It's going to like, but come back.
okay, almost like a slow motion effect.
Could be slow motion depending on how much time is there. But this is just 80 seconds to 88 seconds frames. Sorry, 80 frames to 88 frames. So it's very, very yeah.
That's minuscule.
So let's continue here. We can just tell this to go straight up and kind of curve.
All this way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I mean,
What I come in again? Some SpongeBob. Thank you so much, bro. Made man.
Do the bop.
see, look at that action right there. See that jump? You see how the face was before?
That's what I was
Go again, please.
Nice.
Yeah,
See how much more, but you see how much more
Natural.
naturally it looked? Right, because of those curves. Otherwise, it would have looked like this. Maybe. Right, so animations like, especially technical animation like rigging and stuff, because you're not drawing it, you're literally just moving around points and telling it to do this and that. Like they call it parametric animation. Because you're using parameters to move things. Right? So that would be that. And like I said, I want to add a little something to this. Yes. So let's say it does that. Push. I said I want, yeah. So I said I want someone like a hammer or something. Right? So I'm going to create a new drawing. This drawing here is that one thing. Let's create a new drawing. Or maybe someone a twig. A twig hammer. So I'm going to create a new drawing. Drawing Twigmir or something. What's a Twigmir? Add that and close. Right? So for Twigmir, what's going to happen? I'm going to work on Twigmir from here. It's going to put Twigmir at the bottom. I'll move that up here. And Twigmir shall occur here. So we're going to draw us a nice little Twigmir. New. What color shall this twig be?
Twig. Dark. Light brown.
Light brown,
Sepia.
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 Yeah, Twigmir shall be this color. I'll just call this color Twigmir. And it shall be an amazing twig. Mir.
I have no power.
It's like a Harry Potter thing when God Leafy himself.
Leafy.
God, you leave you.
Just a little twig with a leaf on it. Amazing.
Take this component of the whole thing.
And no other leaves can lift it because they are not worthy.
Not worthy of the tweet.
Right? So
I just got the reference. That's not why it was in the thing. I wasn't. I actually I didn't like it. But then
don't mind the color, it's hideous.
it's fine.
It's the colors only a mother could love.
I was thinking that I'm more tuned down the darker color, but since we like
That's Jake.
One more thing. Aha. Yes, this leaf that resonates with power.
I have no power.
Yes, this leaf of power.
The power of Leafy. I have.
Everybody stop.
Boom. Just
He,
that.
he just gonna pop in and pop out.
Nonsense. It needs to stay.
I summon Twigmir.
Right, so we have that twig there. And what I'm going to do is create a peg for that twig. You know why I'm creating a peg for that twig? So we can control
Why
it.
not on peg?
I am terribly confused.
I'm confused.
I'm not going to meds anything. I don't even take medication.
Don't look it up. It's for your own good.
Jake, what's up, Jake?
I have no idea.
Jake don't even know.
Chances are I'm going to look it up anyway.
Don't look
Oh,
it up,
Jake.
Jake.
No.
This guy is embracing himself.
Jake, I am
Mira, what's up,
son.
Jake?
I am.
Never, what's up, Jake?
Therefore, I should look it up.
These are wooden Jake used to stop vampires in the night.
Chances are it's probably one of those jokes that only they get.
It's also a wooden boat. You would have to use in, say, a boat or like a
So remember we have that, let me show you something cool. Remember how we have that, wait, let me just set up this pivot point properly. Yes, pivot point properly. Right, so it's going to be on an arm. What we want to do is that we want to attach the Twigmir's peg to be controlled by, for example, that little arm there. And you have something called kinematic output. Kinematic output, which we have to pull out of the node library. Let's throw that there. Alright, what's going to happen is, right, we have that little arm, which we have here. And what I want to do is that I want to, this twig here to that kinematic output for this arm. Bam. I mean, bam. Whoops. It's still gonna move. All right, that's not moving the right place.
What's going on, man?
All right, so we're going to change something here.
Twig has been summoned.
The twig has been summoned to my forehead. All right, let's fix that. You need to move. Right? And that's going to move here and be here. Right? See? Bam! Twigmir now summoned. Twigmir. Let's remove that and this. Look how much we have done in just a short space of time.
And a short space of time has been 3 hours.
And this man is an expert. Keep that in mind, guys.
My brother is an expert. Boom! Twigmir.
Summon Twigmir.
So let's do that. F6. And we rotate this. Depends on the aspect. My brother is better at rigging. Animating? I think my brother is really good at animating. And I'm good at illustrating. What?
Have you guys seen Infinity Trim?
Yes. We shall watch it afterwards. You will see it. Alright, so we have the Twigmir there with the kinematic output. Next thing, One more layer, new drawing. I'll call this VFX. I usually like having a nice little layer for my VFX
Yes, we do.
to throw that stuff in, whatever extras I need to do. So you remember the one my brother did with the
Flame.
not the flame, the kick. Yes, that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful kick. Props to Taikenzor. Right? So that beautiful, beautiful kick. So I'm gonna have this thing materialize.
And we're gonna make lightning shoot off of it too.
It's gonna be summoned by lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, effectively rendering our little twig friend on fire. Right? No, we're not. I'm just gonna keep it simple for now. So I wanna know what it looks like here, just before he grabs it, or right as he grabs it. It's gonna be this thing. Right, just have that be like that. It's good to know what's going on here. And you go backwards. And it's good to use your onion skin. So I'm gonna have
Shouldn't it be coming down downward?
he's absorbing energy from the earth. How very Dragon Ball Z-esque.
Spirit bomb, you know. You really can't say no. You can draw life from all planets and all
And then missing.
everything. If it's possible, it would have taken a long time. You could have drawn all that. You could have drawn 93 multiverses. It would have been a long process. Yes, you standing there for like a couple thousand layers, decent size creatures.
That plant really looks like it's fighting someone.
I see. Leafy's cousin Skylar Scrap. Leafy the glove. Leafy's cousin the glove. Skylar Scrap.
Oh, yes.
Get unleashed. Dragon Ball.
Why are you focusing so much on one downside?
I don't know.
I was wondering.
Power. I have the power. I, I,
This reminds me of Between the Lions, when the two pigeons are reading. Like, yeah.
Leaf bolt. I want to see this now.
Leaf bolt. So let's move the camera, because I'd rather, be able to see stuff. So we're gonna add a new camera plus camera. So in some programs you start off and it's like, once you start, that's it. You can't change the camera, you can't shift anything.
But Toon Boom's like that, huh, fam?
Nope. We can do that.
Camera angles, dog. We've been doing this since.
So our camera is here, and we have our camera thing here, and this and that. As for why this is not connected to something, I have no idea. I'll just put you there because.
Of course, other ones is asleep.
Yeah, it's like no, because remember the first angle was a T pose like that, and it just dropped me to I'm alive.
Alright, I also want to do one more thing. He's gonna summon something, so let's change the way his eyes look. You want that? Oh my goodness, my eyes are like, I can feel this.
My eyes hurt now. Bro, that was slap.
What do we need to change? Iris,
Being so
check.
blind.
Ah.
Actually, make it more menacing.
Then have him blink.
Like, 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 not like that, but it's like, I guess that can work.
Let's move the camera. Yes. Here's the beautiful part about the camera. You can actually tween it. So let's say we start off the animation here. Or rather here. And we play it. And we're playing it. And we're playing it.
He was playing the second time later.
Yes, I had a keyframe here I didn't want.
Okay. Okay.
One.
We're gonna make it zoom in and
We're gonna zoom out.
oh.
Yes. Whoops. I killed the keyframe again. F6 to add that keyframe. That keyframe. And then we will suddenly zoom out. You're wondering why I was focused on the ones outside?
Yes.
I'm not. They're in there now.
Just did that before.
So yeah. Ooh.
Ah!
How do you zoom out?
By the power of God, I have gained the
How do you
ultimate
zoom
weapon.
out the eye?
The camera. By scaling the camera?
Yeah, you see, oh.
Yeah, you scale the camera.
Yes. So
Bam!
just basically irregular two things.
Oh wait, no, I think it's like
Voila. Where's that line? Line, 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 line.
What, the line that he's standing on?
I don't want that line anymore.
The one that he's standing on?
Die, line, die.
I have been given life by God. I've chosen to become her warrior.
And then you could always, move that.
Oh, when you come out, you want to go back up.
Ta-da. And we call that one thing.
The power.
Where's
Twigmir.
Hold on, give me time to watch.
Shut up.
Over, no.
Oh, nice.
Hold on, man, wait for the one.
By the way, if you finish your animation and you like it, you can always render. Yes. So file, you hit export
Soundtrack.
movie. By the way, you can always add sounds to your
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So if we look for a lightning effect, let's just look for a donkey effect.
See, like,
Yeah. So you can import audio simply by pressing file, import sound. I'm going to import a sound. The thing about sound importation is, one, you have to make sure that your length of your sound, you have to make sure that length of your animation will match the length of the sound by actually setting up your time first in Toon Boom before the sound, because if you don't, it's going to cut off the sound.
where speakers to do that outside.
So I'll just find some random royalty-free music I have. Jamendo, Roger Subirana Mata, Between Worlds. Alright, let's see how that looks. Oh no, it's not responding. Alright, there we go, Between Worlds. So
I have been given life by God. I summoned Twigmir.
That's
I know the song hasn't started.
That took for a second.
So the song is not gonna start then.
My gosh, Jimmy.
Nope, it wasn't. Let's put in something else more fancy. Another sound effect, please. Import sound.
What you know about Robin, nigga?
Ukulele. Too lively.
Ukulele.
Kevin MacLeod. Yes.
Loud. Ukulele. Yeah, I hear that. Perfect job.
That was literally
Perfect.
perfect, bro.
It was synced perfectly. But this looks like
I summoned Twigmir.
Oh no, legs. Like someone Twigmir.
and
A
yeah,
huge lightning bolt and only legs and the legs just fall down.
yeah, that would be funny. That would be funny. Turn mistakes into golden opportunities.
Wow. That makes me feel like I want to do something with this now. More VFX then.
Gonna make it go oof.
Hello, Twigmir again. Now you will go out of control. Yes. Discharging. Ah, fini them down. Delete.
You know about Robin, nigga. Baby, look at me shine. Baby, look at the time.
Playing like a flower. It's like a card, you know.
But you know about Tennessee. But you know about Robin, nigga.
Oh, that does not look good.
That is not.
His face does not look good. His face looks like internal combustion.
Legs alone are left.
It's about to happen.
Just go crazy with it, but make sure it flows,
Yeah.
Some branching. Hold the phone. Probably have some strikes on the ground. Doing some little.
Some little sparky sparks.
Man, this might be overkill.
Yes. Same thing. Same thing.
I should just stop.
Stopping what now?
So much for golden opportunities. Poor Leafy.
There's an internal combustion. Leafy forced to explode. Apparently he
That
was unworthy of his power.
Where do those legs disappear now? Oh, there we are. We're almost there then. So let's have this discharge, break off, break off, break off. Kind of breaking off there. That three breaking off here. A little bit of breaking off there, here. Kind of have that discharge, just discharging, breaking off, tiny little bits of it breaking off here and there, you know. That blows up there. These get smaller. That becomes a little line. So do these. These lines become much smaller. Of course, it's still doing a hole. Oh my gosh, I'm frying.
Where is Hungary? Where is Hungary?
Hungary. It's in Europe.
You sure?
Yeah.
You sure it's not beside Turkey? Because you're hungry
It's actually close to
for Turkey?
Austria. Turkey is actually more close to Italy or
Where's the joke?
and what the joke was. I tried to say it, but trying to not laugh because
You
their
better,
kind of
you better you laugh
location
now.
is more vertical. It's better than
Better you laugh.
their vertical location is better than
See, I can laugh. That's
Would
why
you
I
like to
laugh.
see a joke about geographical location?
no.
I'll just load the Niga Higa thingy
Oh, you watch Nika Ika?
when he explains the
Ryan.
triangle. Teehee.
Oh, nigga, higa.
Yes, sir, Ryan. So much dedication to Ryan.
We're how many views on YouTube? How many subscribers does he have now?
I don't know. It's a lot.
And you break apart into little light pieces. Ha
Because he
ha.
has found a higher form of evolution.
And his legs just fall to the ground.
That's the easiest in the world.
Hmm?
Re-implosion.
Elevate.
Smaller pieces. Even smaller. Smaller. Smaller.
You have 21.3 million subs. Midnight talks.
Till night.
Pray. Late.
Sometimes overnight.
Sometimes overnight. Sometimes after 10. Sometimes after 8.
Alright, let's get this thing out of here. Let me just kind of see if I can color the frames in. Here's the cool thing about the paint bucket tool in this thing. You just circle it and it will fill in some stuff for you. If it can indeed fill in some stuff for you. I didn't close anything, so. Ooh, nice. Now we're getting somewhere.
Just in the way. Ah,
Allahu Akbar.
Be thou closed, Leaf.
Allahu Akbar.
Excellent. Let's play it again.
Yes, please. From the beginning. Hey.
Where were we?
I have been chosen by Weiling. I summon Twigmir!
Oh no, his legs. He got fried. Impossible.
Apparently, I
So
have
I left the legs there. So we just decided to just do something with it.
Yeah.
Kind of want the legs to drop those too.
Yeah, I wanted to like
yeah,
drop
like
them
this
together.
again.
I really like dusty legs.
Oh, let's increase the speed because you kind of want that little hang time there.
Hang time.
Yes, it just there doing nothing. Hang time is very important.
Important.
Thank you very much. Oh, it actually does keep the audio. Nice.
Those
Scratch
dusty
what I
legs.
said earlier. Right. Floppy legs, where are you? So here's what I'm gonna do for myself. Make this easier for myself. I just animate those legs frame by frame. Hello leg. Hello. Let's find the leg color, which would be this thing, I'm guessing. Right, and just make the brush bigger by pressing O.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, is it? Can you make the brush bigger?
O.
So is P to make it smaller?
Nope. O makes it bigger and smaller.
Fact.
Facts. Facts first presents. Where's that other leg? O other leg
Can
and
you keep bringing me to the
thigh.
next level?
You are correct, Ludlow.
So it's supposed to be in there.
So where's the other one then? Hello, thigh, leg, foot. Perfection. I'm gonna turn on all the onion skins for those parts. Chicken mixed parts. Yes, ladies and germs, these legs are going to flop. Ooh, those legs are so flop.
You just draw the legs.
Yep,
Or you take my head.
I'm just drawing legs now. It's probably Shaquille, especially if they're dead. Hmm?
Sorry, my brain lapsed. Just now. Just want to stare off into space.
Where were we? Let's play it again.
Yes. Now make dust.
Make it blow away.
No, dust, like dust particles, like.
Oh, yes. New dust particles. Huh, slightly yellow tinted.
Oh, okay.
And I'll just fling that on a different layer. Uh,
Drawing or photograph?
drawing. Dust. FX. Close that. Come with me, you.
Yeah.
Yes, Lord Luke.
Hmm?
Hmm.
Just thinking.
It's a very dangerous thing to do.
Oh, also, I'll just shut up and bring him in real quick. Hmm? Say something.
So it sounded like you're in a party.
That needs some vents in here.
No, they don't.
And in the walls, just pull them out, just put something, like one of those walls is a whole vent. That'll be a lot of work.
Keep saying Wendy. The whole thing is having adjustment, so sometimes I just touch the screen. Here, those screens is just like over the second lap. Over the second lap is over seamless. No, yes, there's no printed out substance.
Yes, you don't have to go so far to do IT anymore.
I'm saying that this building was the animation, and then the second floor or the top floor he put in for ceilings. You get me? The first floor just for express down here, and then if you go up the top, the metrics and buttons.
Let's start with the crappy software down here first.
Yeah,
What? What do you mean?
make your way up the top, you know. Down here is pencil and paper, and up there you got the Wacom Cintiq Pro, all these Macs, Windows 20 software.
Windows 20?
You see the thing is like I'm worried that if I need this stuff,
Mhm.
sometimes like if I'm working with, if I need this stuff, like with these software, would I be like penalized for it if I mess up with Photoshop
No.
and something like that?
Only penalty is, if it's illegal and stuff. All right, let's go again.
Hmm.
All right, so there we go. Ta-da, finished.
Alright, let's
So
see.
that's the end of our recording. Ha 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 ha. I hope you learned something.